Okay. Good to see everybody today. Good day off yesterday, I hope. Happy Labor Day to all of you. I hope you're having a nice day, although you're here. So appreciate you being here on this holiday. I would start by just saying, looking back at the game, hats off to NAU's physicality. Those guys played physical football. That was a hard-hitting game. And I thought that they brought it every single snap. And, I think Coach Ball's team they were ready to play. And there were some hits in that game that were extremely impressive on both sides. But certainly I thought they were much more physical than 2 years ago and really good. They're going to have a good year this year. Looking back at the way our team played after watching the film, I would say, once again, we had some opportunities. We only had 4 drives in the first half. It was a strange game. I think it was 9 possessions total. We wound up scoring on 5 of those possessions. It was a strange game. The new timing certainly speeds things up a little bit. So by far, we averaged 9 yards a play, which I think is like 5th most in the country at this point in time. But we only had 50-some-odd plays. So offensively, we were efficient. We did a nice job. We avoided 2 turnovers in the red zone and could have made for a great day. Of course, you can't avoid those unless you hold on to the football. You don't scramble when unnecessarily taking hits. And we just really missed on the throw to T-Mac. We just left it a little bit behind him, and he spun around and probably want to stay in front of the corner in that case. Defensively, I would say without question, our defense communicated fantastically well, played with great effort. We need to not have 5 penalties that are personal fouls. We talked about that as a staff, whether it be the unnecessary roughness on a punt, whether it be an unsportsmanlike conduct with a shove late, whether it be 2 roughing the passers or whether it be a targeting. We just can't have those plays. That is not going to work against an SEC opponent this week. So we have to be more disciplined there. But in regards to being challenged to be more physical, they were. Being challenged to run to the ball, they were fantastic. Being challenged to play with great effort, they did that. And being challenged to become elite communicators, they're working very hard at that as well. Great field goal block by Tai and return by Takario. We spent a lot of time working those, and that was fantastic in teams. So when you look at overall, can't have a holding penalty on a return. We cannot have a roughing penalty. But for the most part, I think all 3 phases played at a high level and gave us a chance to win. But now we are on to Mississippi State. Certainly a very tough opponent. I think that Coach Arnett has done a great job defensively over there. Now as the head coach, I'm sure he'll continue to do a great job. But the defense is the defense. Saw them play against Southeast Louisiana. They are tough to move the ball on. He knows exactly all the answers to the test. You could tell he's been in that defense for a very, very long time. Either running it, coaching it, being a GA in it, whatever it might be, he is an expert in that defense. So we got our work cut out for us there. Have not seen much of their offensive film yet. I do understand that they ran the ball for 300 yards. I do know that they're a little bit more balanced of an offense than they have been in the past, and we'll have our work cut out for us there. And we're excited about the challenge. We're excited about going down to Starkville. I've only been there one other time. It was not a pretty sight when I was there. It was we got beat pretty bad at the University of Florida that year. Coach Jackie Sherrill put it on us that day. So we got to have a better day than that, and know that the cowbells will be out, and we'll be ready for them the best we can.
Well, with that being said, the cowbells, are you guys going to practice that? Are you guys going to maybe pump in cowbell noises during practice this week?
Yeah, I think you have to be alert for it. The cowbells are not allowed to be ringing when you're in formation. They're only allowed to be ringing when you're in a huddle or when you're going between plays. They're not out when you're going through your cadence. There's no cowbells. And I know that they're very disciplined on that, as that's a penalty. But other than that, I know they're going to be loud. I know they're going to be something we need to be aware of. We'll have some cowbells piped in this week, and we're going to look forward to the energy that an SEC game brings.
Ty had the field goal block. He also played a lot of snaps and played well on defense, plays end, plays tackle, has put on weight, seems to not have slowed him down at all. Can you just describe his development as a prospect and what the outlook is for him?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing from him is he's gained about 25 pounds. He's up to in the 260s right now. And he's playing at a level where he can play on a tight end as a defensive end. He could be moved inside on third down and give you pass rush ability. He plays with incredible efforts. He's running really well because he's like a 240-pound guy that became a 265-pound guy rather than a 290-pound guy that slimmed down. So his athleticism he's maintained his athleticism as he's gained his weight. He's also done a nice job on special teams. Obviously, we saw part of that with the big block that went on for the field goal. But he's a quiet, hardworking, disciplined. You don't notice him until you notice him guy. And he made some big plays against UCLA a year ago as a true freshman. He had a big sack in that game. And as we continue to see his improvement, it's certainly showing up in a lot of different ways. I think he's going to be a big contributor for us during the season.
What did you see out of Bryce?
Fisch has had a great game. There would be a play or two, I think, that they might have had a shot at. And they might have made one catch on him. I don't know how many PBUs total. But what I loved about him is he triggered. There was times that jet sweep they ran on 3rd and goal down there during the goal line stand. It was him that chased the guy over the top and came down and triggered him right in the hole there to stop him from getting in the end zone. He tackled really well. He's got great range. I mean, you're talking about a 6'4" corner that can run. So when you have that, when you play man coverage, it's a lot harder to be able to throw around him because of his length and his speed. So he's getting more physical. He's getting stronger in the weight room. He's getting bigger. When I mean bigger, I mean he's getting more weight on him, and he's getting confidence. And as he's continuing to grow and build confidence, he's going to be a really good corner for a lot of years.
When looking at the offensive line, obviously Raymond Polito was missing from the game, but how do you think they handled that, and what did you see with the communication out there?
Yeah, I think it was a little tricky just because of the fact that Raymond was taking all the reps of the ones for 2 weeks straight, and then all of a sudden, after your last practice, you don't have them. So there wasn't even a practice other than a walkthrough in the hotel ballroom that we were able to even get the communication right. It's really a credit to Josh Baker and Big Jonah that when Sam went in or JT went in, that they were able to get all the calls out and they were able to help him and keep him confident. And JT did a really good job. Sam did a good job. Both of those guys are going to have to play again this week unless something changes. We won't know about Raymond really until, I'm going to say, Thursday or Friday. We'll actually know if he'll be cleared to play or not. So those guys are going to have to continue to step up. And then Joe Borjan came in and stepped in that left tackle role probably for about 24 minutes, the second half of the third quarter on, and did a really good job as well. But Jordan is doing great, and Jordan will be ready to go.
Jedd, obviously with the situation with Gunnar, I mean, how are you guys teaching that now in terms of when you've got two athletes that are coming at each other at a pretty high speed rate? I mean, is it let the receiver land and try to tackle him versus, trying to hit?
I would lead with your shoulder. Lead with your shoulder is the best way to say it. You just can't lead with your face mask. So as long you're just going to have to turn a little bit more than you normally would. And now, if there's any chance of a catch tackle, do the catch tackle. Because if you just go flying in there with a shoulder and you miss, you got a problem, right? But if you could just lead with your shoulder, tackle with your shoulder, keep your head out of it, you're just going to have to deal with some of those plays that aren't necessarily the same blow-up shots. You go back in time and you look at all the blow-up shots of old, and you want to try to, get your defense going, and you go look at some of the film, and you're like, I can't show any of these, right? None of these blow-up shots of old are allowed any longer. So you have to do really, you have to be disciplined, and you have to lead with your shoulder.
Justin Flo, his snap total, what did you make of that, and what's the plan for him right now?
Just keep getting better. I think that he certainly showed up when he played. You saw him get in there. There was a chance that he almost ripped the ball out on one play closer to our sideline on a run. Came in very physical, chased down wheel route on the backside, made a tackle down the field. So, I think that his snap count will continue to increase as he continues to get more confident in the system and more knowledgeable in the system and is able to play within the system. And as he's continuing to do that, his snap count will continue to increase.
Kind of two questions. One, the update on Stoops, if you have one, and then also, how do you handle figuring Gunnar misses the first half? How do you handle his position on Saturday?
Yeah, Stooks, nothing yet other than he's improving. That's another one that we won't know until Thursday or Friday based on all the protocols that are in place. We can't make those decisions. That'll be told to us by the training staff. When it comes to the position, so Gunnar will have to sit the first half of this coming game. And, we have IT, we have Dalton, we have DJ Warnell, we have Irby, and then we have Prysock, we have Takario. So we have a really good group right there that can rotate through. And I feel really good about that group of 6. And then G7 came in and played well, too, in his 5 snaps. So when you start adding those guys all up, I think what we'll probably see is in the smoothest transition would just be IT for Gunnar. But we'll see what that other competitions look like. Genesis came in, played really well as well. So does Genesis and IT and Dalton all rotate? We'll work through that in practice Tuesday, Wednesday.
So you talk about teaching the guys to tackle, leading shoulder. What's it like for Chuck Cecil, a guy who made his name on the little hits, to have to teach that style of tackling?
It's part of the game. I think he knows it's part of the game. He knows the game is not the same as it once was. And he does a great job of coaching his safeties up and explaining the differential between what it was when he played, which was 30 years ago, versus now. And does a great job of explaining that to him. And Gunnar knows. Gunnar came right up to me and said, Coach, I'm sorry that I need to be better. And he knows that, and so do all of our guys, and so do most guys that get thrown out for targeting. It just, unfortunately, there's some instincts that occur that you sometimes get caught up in the game, and that mistake happens.
We talked about the cowbells a little bit, but also there's the humidity and heat of the SEC. How do you simulate that in a week of practice, or is it even able to be simulated?
I think we practice in the heat enough that our guys can handle. Yes, it's a different heat, but I think an 85-degree day with humidity or a 105-degree day with no humidity are probably pretty comparable. I would put our guys' conditioning up against anybody's, so I feel really good about that.
T-Mac's touchdown looked like it was set up by the previous touchdown to Cowing, very similar looking play, except you threw to the screener, I guess, on that one. Is that something that was in your playbook, or did that spring to mind at some point? Hey, what if we did this, if the defense does that? How did that all come out?
We, when we were watching the TV show The Quarterback, there's a part of the game where Patrick Mahomes gets to take about 5 minutes and come up with a creative play, and in practices on Wednesday, and he gets to practice with the receivers, and I guess my man Jaden came up with a creative play with T-Mac, and they made an adjustment during the game, an on-field adjustment that if they fall off this is what I want you to do. And they clearly were on the exact same page on that. And we give them a 5 minutes of a Jaden period where he can come up with some creativity.
By T-Mac too, by the way, right?
Screen and roll.
Have you ever been in a game where you only have 5 third down conversions the entire game, but then at the same time, how do you make sure that you're still effective on third down when you're able to move the chains and stay ahead?
Yeah, it was a weird game, right? Like at one point we were 1 for 2, and it was like almost at halftime, or 1 for 3 at halftime. It was like the weirdest deal. But yeah, we weren't able to convert on the easy ones, right? It's a 3rd and 3, we don't make it. It's a 3rd and 2, we didn't make it. It was a 3rd and 5 at the end of the game, we didn't make it. So we got to be better in 3rd down. I know that sounds weird because we only had 5 of them, but we got to be better in 3rd down. We're going to have more this week, and we threw the one out route to T-Mac. Thought maybe he could have grabbed it, and he maybe it got on him a little quick. We threw a fade ball at the end of the game. It was 38-3 at that point, and we wound up missing them there, or 35-3 where we kicked the field goal. We had the one with Noah where we ran the ball on 3rd down, and when the game was 38-3 with 2 minutes left or 3 minutes left, and we ran a little toss crack play. So it was kind of strange, in regards to what we were calling, what was the situation, what was the score, and how necessary was that conversion. Okay. Thank you.